Let me get to the one thing that I do not like about Dragon Ball Daima. Yes, I hear you. I understand. If you've watched the episode, I mean, if you could watch the episode, apparently you have to have premium to watch it on Crunchyroll. But for those of you guys who have watched the episode, okay, let me get to the thing that I dislike about Daima the most, and it is a immense spoiler, and it's something that really took me back because I honestly thought that this was going to be the next generation of Dragon Ball, and quickly realized that when I saw these two on screen, yeah, it didn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense
if you saw Dragon Ball Super Superhero. So this is the reason that I absolutely think that this is a misstep for Dragon Ball Daima. Dragon Ball Daima takes place right after the Buu Saga.
What kind of fool do you take me for?
Yes. For those of you guys who did not know, it takes place right after the Buu Saga. And now we have this little mini arc, Dragon Ball Daima, in between Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. Yay. The main issue that I have with this is that it really limits what you can do in Dragon Ball Daima in terms of the greater galaxy, lore, and storytelling, mainly due to the fact that Dragon Ball Super was the first time the characters in Dragon Ball saw a being like Beerus and Whis that were part of the hierarchy of the universe, but now we see and we know that they actually kind of already had seen the hierarchy of the universe with Daima, and depending how far into that universe it goes, they may have way more knowledge of how the universe works before Dragon Ball Super.
What the hell are you talking about?
What does that change? Well, that's the problem. I don't know where they're going to go with this. I don't know how deep they're going to go into the leveling up of the universe through Dragon Ball Daima. Dragon Ball Daima being between Super and Z means that we don't have God Ki, we don't have Super Saiyan Blue, we don't have Ultra Instinct or anything from Dragon Ball Super whatsoever. And so the characters are actually the strength level that they were in the Buu Saga, which is interesting if you are trying to gauge the power levels of these characters, which is the whole reason Daima exists. So that was really my only nitpick, besides the fact that the story for Dragon Ball Daima is bar for bar the story for Dragon Ball Super Superhero. You basically get the villains having a recap of the entire story of Dragon Ball, or at least certain pivotal points of Dragon Ball related to this story, and then you have the two main characters. One is short, one is tall. Then you have a scientist character that is doing science work, and then you have the characters that are basically feeling like they are vulnerable to the Z Squad, trying to figure out a way to stop that vulnerability. Basically, the Red Ribbon Army created Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and Cell Max, while in Dragon Ball Daima, the new Demon King, he decides to wish them all to be babies or kids, which I think that I like this guy a lot. I think he's gonna grow on me. He's very, very interesting. I like his mannerisms. He's not like, he's kind of unique in a sense of a villain perspective, but at the same time, he's just a little goofy guy. And then you find out that this guy actually has two siblings. One of them is the Kaioshin that is with the Demon King, and then the other one is the scientist. So Shin actually has an older brother and sister, and they're both in hell, which is honestly really groundbreaking Dragon Ball lore, because it gives us further insight into what the Kais do when they're not in the supreme position, and it looks like they're basically attendants, or can be attendants, or can work in some sort of government when it comes to like the universe and its hierarchy, whether it be the universe and the gods of destruction, or it could be the demon realm, which is what it is here. The fact that we got fully realized, reanimated scenes of Dragon Ball's Buu arc, full scenes as the intro, in a room where this guy's watching them, and I just realized it's the exact same room that in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, when you go through story mode, that's the room that they're in. It's the exact same thing. It just fits so well, it hits so good, and it just makes you wonder, like, why didn't they do superhero in full animated like this? Because it's just beautiful. The animation is really up there. It's honestly way better than Dragon Ball Super's animation. Even some of the better shots, it's way better than that, and it's in the same realm as Shintani. It's like they took Shintani and Yamamuro and made a baby. This is amazing animation, great music, great sound quality, and there's a bit of CGI, but you can't barely even tell what it is. I think one of my favorite parts of the lore for this is that the Namekians are actually not part of what they call the outer world, which I'm assuming is the universes, because that's where they travel to, the Demon King, this new Namekian, and this Kaioshin, through this sort of portal system to the outer worlds, which are the universes. And so this is really interesting that Namekians come from the demon realm, which makes sense because Demon King Piccolo, I mean, that's his name. And I like that they're connecting it to that, so they're not actually from planet Namek. I'm assuming they populated planet Namek, and then other ones went across the universe, which makes sense. I mean, they're kind of overpowered. They can make Dragon Balls and stuff, so that's honestly something that it definitely fits in the universe. The fact that there is demon Dragon Balls, though, I cannot wait to see this dragon. You know that they've mentioned it several times in this episode. You know that we're going to be getting that dragon, and I just cannot wait to see how overpowered looking and how awesome this new dragon is going to look, and what the parameters are for his wishes. I cannot wait for this guy.
Oh, so excited!
And the new Namekian character, I don't know his name, but he is dope. He is like super powered, I guess, from the realm of hell or the demon realm, because he not only can instantaneously find all the Dragon Balls, but he can kind of like make them revert from stone back to regular Dragon Balls, and he just seems to be extremely overpowered as a Namekian. But I like it because I love Namekians, so whatever they decide to add on to Namekians, I'm glad that they're getting more lore and more love. And the episode actually ends with everyone transforming into kids, because that was the thing. That's the thing that this guy is afraid of, is he's afraid that these guys, the Z Squad, who defeated Majin Buu, they defeated, and at that point in time in Dragon Ball Z, the strongest villain in Dragon Ball Z. He's worried that they might decide to go to the demon realm and clean house, and since they also killed King Deborah, and they went there, and that's exactly what they decided to do. The biggest issue with this is that now we found out that Shenron could actually transform anybody into children, which we already seen Dragon Balls turn people into kids, but I mean, if you look at it this way, I mean, anybody could have been transformed back into a child. Frieza could have been transferred back into a child. Cell could have been reverted back to his bug form if they got all the Dragon Balls. Like, at that point, there were so many villains and so many issues they could have prevented by just making them into children, which is, I mean, I think this is probably a more broken wish than the I wish to be the strongest in the universe, like this guy. Yeah, this is a way more broken wish. Ultimately, I love this first episode. Very entertaining. I can't wait for the next one. And the next one, I think, may not be on Crunchyroll. I think at that point, it may be on Netflix. So that's going to be a lot better for a watching experience, because I do not have Crunchyroll Premium. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of the episode, if you watched it, and what are your pros and cons of the episode.
Prepare yourself